Percival Wolfric Brown.
Dumbledore's got style.
You're just as sane as I am.
I was not tell lies.
Get away from my concern.
I've always felt our futures lay outside the world of academic achievement.
Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for listening to Retold, the podcast where I retell you my favorite story of all time, Harry Potter. Every single week, I go through the books two chapters at a time, recapping what happens, saying my favorite lines, talking about the lore, behind the scenes things, and we get into some trivia, a whole bunch of other stuff. But this episode is a special episode for several reasons. One, it's the start of season 5.
Yay!
Yay! I want to be so loud. I want to be boisterous and be excited and all that stuff. But I'm recording with the most special guest of all. That's the second reason why it's so special. My wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason we're able to record together is because our baby is asleep. Yeah, she's asleep upstairs in her room.
It's her last nap of the day.
It's her last nap.
Can't go too
You can't go wrong. So we will not be able to be as loud as I would like to celebrate the incredible, or to bring the incredible joy that I would like to have for the start of season 5. But this is awesome. Just to start off, like, I'm so grateful for how much the podcast has grown. Thank you, listeners and viewers, so much. You know, we went from, especially last season, starting off strong and it continuing through, getting bigger and bigger. And we went from, you know, dozens of downloads a week to hundreds. There are some episodes now that like get in the thousands of downloads, and that is just so incredible. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. So share this with all you Potter friends. If you want to help this show out, leave a review. You can also support the podcast by subscribing on Patreon for just $3 a month. You get extra bonus content. Jesse and I recap the Hogwarts mystery plotline. We have a few extra bonus episodes a month every once in a while, whenever my schedule allows for it. But anyway, we're starting season 5. Very exciting time. Order of the Phoenix. We had a long break in between, not a break, but a time in between seasons where we did a bunch of fun one-off episodes. But we're going to get to it now. Going through the books, two chapters at a time. I have a whole bunch of awesome guests lined up. Next week, I haven't even told you about this. I might have, outside of my wife, my most special guest yet. I'm so excited. Stay tuned for next week.
Well, that's just going to make everyone else feel bad. Why would you say that?
Most special in regards to the Potter. You know what? That is a bad way to phrase it. One of the most special. How about that? Let's say it like that.
Yep. I'm looking out for you.
Yeah. All my other guests, I love you so much. And there's going to be a whole bunch of new things. I'm going to be adding sound effects now. All right. We're not going to hear them because it's going to be added in post, but there'll be sound effects. Reparo. Futureberry here. Sad to say, there will be no sound effects for this episode. I did not budget my time properly and was not able to acquire them all before the release of this episode today. But don't worry, they will be here for episode 2 next week. Back to the podcast. And we have a new background. We're still working on lighting and everything, but that'll come in. But my audio listeners don't give a crap about any of that. So let's hop right into it. Order of the Phoenix with my wife, Bailey.
Hello.
Waiting for you to say hi. People already know you. You've been introduced. You've given your house. You're a Ravenclaw. This is the last book that you were reading. So
Yes.
you haven't finished this book yet.
I did not get far in this book at all. I'd read these 2 chapters, and maybe 1 or 2 more, but I am, after this point, a pure movie person only, as far as my knowledge.
Now, my question is that because of the book itself, or is it because you're just schedule and things you had to do?
Schedule.
Okay.
I started writing and then I just stopped reading.
I asked that because Order of the Phoenix is famously one of the least liked books. There's a lot of angst. People don't.
Oh, I can tell that already.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like Harry in this book.
Yeah.
But spoiler, I'm going to be defending Harry so much in this book.
Well, and it's not I'm sure no one who has that complaint says it from a point of it's unreasonable.
No, absolutely. They say it more like it's not fun to read for
it's
them.
annoying. Yeah.
Which I would still disagree with. So, but we'll get to it. We'll get to all those things. Few quick fun facts about the book. So instead of doing a whole interview with you, I normal guests Listeners, normally I interview my guests before, but you've already met Bailey. You know her. She's wonderful. I have a few Order of the Phoenix fun facts, which I haven't done for other books beforehand. So let me just rattle some of these off. Number one, it was released on June 21st, 2003, which is interesting for two reasons. One, it was the longest gap in between books. 3 years before this was when Goblet came out. So people had to wait 3 years between Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix. The other thing, though, was that it didn't come out in Indonesia until January of 2004, like 6 months later.
Okay.
I don't know why. Why is Indonesia behind the times? I don't know what's going on with them that made them so much later. Whatever. All right, the other fun fact is that this is obviously the longest book in the series, longest book to date, and it kind of set the tone for the next two books to follow. It was the fastest selling book of all time when it came out. It was the first book ever to reach 5 million copies in the first 24 hours that it came out. It also set a record for e-commerce. Amazon shipped 1 million copies on opening day as well.
Wow.
So people
I didn't
couldn't
even
wait
think
to buy
Amazon existed
in 2003. Yeah. People were wanting to get their hands on this. They had been 3 years without the boy wizard, and they needed him bad.
Okay.
So 5 million copies.
Well, really quick, what year did the first movie come out?
I think like 2001.
Okay,
2000
so
or
it's the
2001?
first book that came out after the movie started.
Probably. Future Bear will come in and clarify
Okay.
these things. Ahem. That is correct. The Order of the Phoenix book was the first book that came out after the Harry Potter movies started releasing. The first Harry Potter movie, The Philosopher's Stone, came out in 2001. And Order of the Phoenix came out, as we just said, in 2003.
Because that would also explain why. Because the movie would have added a lot of hype.
The other thing, it held the record for most sold books until the next book came out. But we'll get to that next season, y'all. See, that's called a hook. They're going to stick around now until book 6. Next thing, it had a bit of a mixed response.
Okay.
I even saw like one of the most famous Potter website, like Potter fan websites at the time, released a poll with like tens of thousands of fans submitting how much they liked the book, and like 60% of them did not like it. Like it had a negative
That was
reaction.
like the overall.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And yet the next book sold even more. So
I think because it's probably one of those books that like on first read, you're like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then the next time you read it, like, all right, I like it more.
Right.
I like it more. That's probably, I assume, how it went down. Anyway, that's about all I got for the Harry Potter fun facts. So now, listeners, if you're new here, this is what I do every single episode. I have a guest. We go through the books 2 chapters at a time. To begin each episode, though, or before the chapter coverage starts, we do some Harry Potter trivia. All right, I call it Quizzitch, the Quizzitch competition. I ask my guests some questions. They ask me questions. I keep track of the score to see who knows more, me or the world. All right, my guests represent the world. I represent myself because I pridefully claim that I know more about the Harry Potter books than everybody else in the world. That's what we start off with, and then we get into the book coverage, and then after the chapter coverages, we have some fun bonus sections afterwards where we talk about our favorite lines. We talk about Golden Snitches, which are behind-the-scenes lore, tids and bits, and then we get into Transfigurations, which are differences that the books made from the movies, and we do it all again for the next chapter, and then at the very end, we have a restricted section where we talk about spoilers for the rest of the series. If you haven't read it,
that's going to be spoilers for me too.
I know I'm going to be spoiling my wife on it.
That's okay.
But I've already told her about everything that happens in it.
And I've seen the movies, so I know the main things.
You know the gist. So let's get into the Quizzitch competition. To recap, I won book 4, lost book 2, lost book 3, but came back and won book 4, baby. So it's 2-2. We're at a tiebreaker point for Order of the Phoenix. So, baby, let's get it kicked off.
All right.
Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, I need to close my book.
Yeah.
Otherwise that's cheating.
Yeah. All right. How about you ask me your first question?
Okay. I'll do the one that I think is probably the easiest.
And listeners, these are questions based on the chapters that we've
Yes.
read. So
And it
just
could
the
be-
first 2 chapters.
Yeah, and it could be either. Okay. I don't know. Maybe all of these are easy. List and paraphrase in order all the letters that are sent to Pivot Drive in chapter 2. That's not hard. You can logic your way
5
to
of
it.
them? Okay.
Well, you already
The
know that
first
there are
one-
5, so
First one, from Mafalda Hopkirk. telling Harry that he's been expelled and they're going to come
Yes.
take his wand, and he has a hearing in August.
Okay.
The second one is from Arthur Weasley telling him, yo, don't give up your wand, but also don't go anywhere. The next one is from Sirius. And hold on, let me say these all and then I'll order in case I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Next one's from, I believe the next one's from Sirius telling him, hey, sit tight, don't do anything. Then number 4 is from the Ministry again, saying that, yo, we spoke to Dumbledore. All right, he got a little mad at us, so your hearing, like your expulsion is like you're suspended right now. So we'll see what happens at the hearing. And then the number 5 one is from Beep to Petunia saying, remember my last.
That's a spoiler. It doesn't say who it's from in the first chapter.
Oh,
Do you
shoot.
want to reword that?
The 5th one and the 5th one, we don't know who it's from. I'll just add a little beep over top.
Okay.
But yeah, I like that order. I think that's the correct order.
That is not the correct order.
No?
You switched Sirius and the second Ministry.
Are you
one.
sure?
I'm positive. We can look
No,
at it right now.
Sirius is the 3rd one. I'm
No.
absolutely certain Sirius is the 3rd one.
Not. Sirius is the 4th one. Yep. Okay. I'll prove it to you. So we've got the first one. You were right. How do you say her first name?
Mafalda.
Okay, yeah.
No, okay, yeah, you're right. I am remembering it now.
Yep,
Sirius
and
is the
then-
4th. Dadgummit.
And then Arthur.
Starting off on
And then
Mafalda. Oh
Yep.
my gosh. Okay. I'm wrong. I'm
And
wrong.
then- Yeah. Okay.
Dadgum.
I didn't think you'd miss that one. Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
All right. Well, you had 5 things.
Yeah, but
right?
you know.
Okay. Your question
Okay.
is I have such easy questions for
That's
you. 'cause
okay,
trying to get-
I'm- I need
Okay.
them.
Which neighbor is staring at them? What does the narrator refer to? How does the narrator refer to the neighbor that's staring at them whenever Vernon is shouting at Harry?
Oh, the name?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
He's trying to be all smiley, and
I remember what he says.
it's not a
because
real name.
It's not a real name. Yeah, I don't remember. There's no shot.
Mrs. Number 7.
Yeah. Okay. No, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Okay.
Yeah. My next question was related to that. It was, what is Uncle Vernon's? What does he blame the crack on to the neighbor?
Car backfire.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that your second question?
Yeah, that was my second question. Yeah.
Hey, I got one right. Okay, let's see if you get one right.
Okay.
Both from chapter 1. Both your questions were. No, actually, no.
No, the second one's
yeah,
or
that was
the other
chapter
one's
2.
chapter 2.
Silly me. Negative points for me. Okay. Several owls arrive, as we discussed. 5. So I have a question that relates to yours. 5
Mhm.
owls arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them come through the window or to the window. Some of them through the chimney. Which one receives more, the window or the chimney? Did more owls try to come through the window or through the chimney?
I'm gonna guess the chimney. Yeah, more in the chimney.
That's incorrect. 3 owls tried to come through the window,
Okay.
2 through the chimney.
Wait, try to come through the window, but don't succeed, or they
Well,
do?
it gets hit. One hits the window, and so
Right.
then he opens up. I don't think it comes in. He reaches out and grabs it, so it doesn't make it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Just for funsies, here's a bonus question. If you smile at me sweet enough, I might give you the points. Let's see. Name one of the members of Dudley's gang.
Oh my god.
There's several of them.
Yeah, but I didn't.
You're an English teacher, baby. I thought you would have this on lock.
I was too distracted by how they kept calling him Big D.
Big D.
That was. Oh gosh, I don't know.
All right.
I'm sorry. My brain was like latching to things that
Yeah.
I thought would get questions, and none of those were them.
You got Malcolm, Piers, and Gordon.
no shot.
Well, there you go. So we begin the season.
Well, I have one more for you. I've only asked 2.
Oh, shoot. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I forgot we were doing 3.
Mm-hmm. This one's probably easy. What was the thing that finally enabled Harry to do Expecto Patronum?
The faces of Ron and Hermione.
That's right.
Aww. All right. I'll ask you one more, too.
Okay.
What was there a ban on?
A ban on basically just using water because there's a tap or there was a drought.
I'll give you the point, but can you name specifically the use of what
The
yard?
hose.
That's right.
Yeah.
A hose pipe
Mhm.
ban.
I
is what
remember
it's
that
called.
happening. There was a period of time in my childhood that there was a similar thing.
Yep,
like
drought in Georgia.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there you go. We start off the season. I am up 1-2 on the world. Take that, everybody.
Sorry, guys.
I'll embrace my early lead. And for the audience quizzes question, I'm not going to say it. I don't have to come up with it because we have our first paid Patreon member. We have like a few more unpaid free ones, but
Yeah,
we have our
sure.
first paid Patreon member. Shout out, Zach. I love you. And
He
if
got
you're
to pick, or he got to make it.
so
That's
one of
so
the perks
cool.
of being a patron is you get to come up with a Quizzitch question, and I will decide whether it's one that I will ask the guest or whether it's one I will ask as the audience Quizzitch question.
Mhm.
And so for this week, I reminded him about that today, the recording of, so he wasn't able to give me the question right away. But in
We'll get it later.
future, Barry will come in and he will ask you your Quizzitch question from Zach. So listeners, if you want to be patrons, add to these questions. All right, submit something, might be included on the show. But anyway, that wraps up our Quizzitch section. Not so fast. Future Barry here. I did speak with our patron, Zach, and I do have your first Quizzitch question for season 5, dear listeners. And your question is, what were the presents that Hermione and Ron got for Harry for his birthday? The ones that he threw away and instantly regretted. What were the presents that Hermione and Ron got for Harry for his birthday? If you want to answer that, write into theretoldpodcast@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at theretoldpodcast. Anyway, back to the podcast. Moving on now to our chapter coverage. Woo! This is it. Beginning of Order of the Phoenix. Let's get it popping off. All right. So we open up and Britain is dusty. All right.
Mhm.
It is dry, as we talked
Also,
about in
pause. Talk about a spoiler in the name of the chapter.
Dudley Demented.
Yeah, you just like tell me that it's okay. Now, wonder what's gonna happen.
If it's Vernon, he might not get it right though, because he thinks they're Dementoids.
I guess, but
Do you like my Hufflepuff mug?
mhm.
Listeners, I don't know if you can see that. There's a glare. There it is.
The glare is really bad in here.
Yeah.
We do not look the best.
We're going to work on the lighting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Dudley Demented, we open up. Britain is dusty. They're suffering from a drought. Bailey, they can't even water their lawns because of the
hose band.
hose pipe ban. I like that it says hose pipe specifically.
Okay.
And I also like how they keep referring back to it
Mhm.
with the Dursley. So you have that one moment where he like adds the neighbor.
Mhm.
Koga, stop it. Or dogs scratching. There's a moment where they at the neighbor specifically saying like, if that guy over there won't stop watering his lawn at 3 a.m. And they also talk about narrator Harry says something like they hate people who cheat the hose pipe ban more than them. There's
Mhm.
some moment like that in one of these
Mhm.
chapters.
More than people who hear voices in their heads.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. So we join Harry, who's chilling outside the window, just listening to the news, as you do when you're 15. I like how he congratulates himself on the
Mhm.
hiding spot. He goes, I think I picked out a pretty good one, because they were starting to get upset with him over sitting in the room listening to the news with them. And he's like, I picked a good spot. And the Dursleys don't like him hanging out there. That's also noted. He's chilling next to the hydrangea bush, got to be secret. The narrator tells us how cool Dudley's gang is. Because that was almost a Quizzitch question of like, what are the things they're listed as doing? And it was like they smoke and they
yeah.
throw rocks at cars
They
and
vandalize
children.
the playground.
They vandalize the playground. So
Yeah.
there's some awesome dudes.
Well, I think it's funny that like now we have all this time pictured Dudley as like this little piglet like
Mhm.
kind of character. Big pig more like, but now I mean they're getting older, and so even
Mhm.
the things that Dudley is starting to do are like in the more serious realm. They're not just like petty little
Yeah.
things.
They're getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So the news itself, some notes on it. There are 3 different things that I wanted to highlight. One, they try to sneak in a helicopter crash. Like they're talking about some like kind of unserious things. You know, it's like, oh, this celebrity couple getting a divorce. Oh, this bird is able to water ski. Also, there was a helicopter crash, and then it keeps moving on. I was like, hold on, that was pretty serious. But anyway, there's also a mention of like Petunia catches a stray, talking about Petunia's bony hands because it says whenever it's talking about the celebrity divorce, she goes, like any of us would care about what's going on in their lives. And then narrator Harry's like, as if her bony hands weren't like trying to grab whatever they could about, or as if she wasn't trying to get whatever magazine her bony hands could get a hold of. We also get a note about the water skiing bird, which I didn't know was a bird, a budgie, a budgeridoo. That's not what it's called, but it's called the budgie. And that is a parakeet. It's a type of parrot. All right. You're just like, yeah, sure.
You could tell me anything and I'd be okay.
So Harry goes to leave because he thinks that this point with the bird is where the news probably ends. And I was like, nah, Harry, that's just the good part. All right. That's part of the news cycle. It starts talking about the fun animals. A big crack gives Harry a spook. I probably could have phrased that better. He gets interrogated by Vernon because, you know, he jumps up, hits his head on the window, the shutter, and Vernon and Petunia like interrogate him. And I like the double team of Vernon being like, you're doing wrong. And I'm not sure why. And Petunia goes, well, what about those owls going to your room? And he's like, get her out of that one, boy. Makes me think of me and you. Because I often describe like when I'm talking to people about like our intelligence and the way our brains work, it's like I operate on a heavy common sense level and you operate on a lot of facts. Like, you know, a lot of specifics. And so I can think that something is wrong, but not quite know why. And you'll actually have the information to show why it's why.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gets interrogated by them. He drops the best, sassiest line of the whole series.
Who, Harry?
Harry does.
Yes.
It is my favorite one.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
The one about the news?
Oh, yeah.
It is the
well,
best
that's the thing.
one.
It's different every day.
I love it so much.
Yes.
Why do you keep watching it? That's the thing. It's different every day. It's my favorite. Like, it's complained about a lot. Movie Harry is not as sassy as book Harry. And this is one of those moments where we get to see how awesome Harry's sass
one of those
is.
little things that makes it a little worth it for him to be moody. It's like you get to be funny and sassy. So maybe
that's a good point.
Maybe if he had gotten more moments like that, people would have been more forgiving about it if it was like entertaining.
Yeah, it definitely happens with Dudley. He's kind of funny with Dudley. But I like this sassy moment more than the professor line in book 6. All right, if you guys know, you know. Maybe let me know which one you think is the better one. But I like this one slightly more. Anyway, he says Ron and Hermione's letters suck because they're basically just like, sorry, Harry, we're doing super dope stuff over here. Can't tell you about it, though.
Sit tight.
And he has some bad FOMO, which makes sense because there's a line of him saying like that he's nervous or that he's upset because he's just picturing them having all types of fun at the Burrow without him at Ron's place. And I get that when you're like friends are hanging out without you. And
well, it's not just fun. It's also like he doesn't know what's going on. Like because I mean, he's watching the news because he's worried about Voldemort doing crazy stuff. And he has no, connection whatsoever with what the actual happenings around that
and they get to know whenever he's like, he makes the point, they're not the ones who fought Voldemort, they're not the ones who have gone through what I've gone through. I have a right to know, and I think he's right in that. My dumb little joke was like, I was gonna say whenever he's like upset that they're hanging out without him and having fun, I was like, and that's why none of my friends know each other. So like all of my friends, there's one over here, one in none of my friend groups intersect. Good job, Barry. Anyway, he says Sirius's letters are a little bit better because they're just like, dude, I know this sucks. Sorry about that. But he also says like he points out the irony of Sirius telling
hypocrisy.
him, but you know what? Sirius is still right. So I take it. Harry walks to the park. I like how it says like his feet just kind of automatically take him to his favorite haunts. And I like referring to places you go as your haunts. I thought you would like that too.
Yes, I did. I did like that.
But he's hanging out at the park and he notices Dudley's gang riding up on their expensive racing bikes with the little clicking in the background. In the new audiobooks, the full cast audio, you get to hear the tick, 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 tick of the bikes coming by. Shout out to Dudley's fitness journey.
Yeah.
Okay. He talks about he was a hefty boy before and he's like, and Dudley's still vast. However, he's put muscle onto that frame. And I also really like that one line of him saying, like, I didn't think, like, I'm not afraid of him, but also I still don't like that he knows how to punch harder and more accurately.
It's like, that can't be a good thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Harry wants all the smoke because he's like, just come on over here. Come on over. Try me. Just try me. But they don't. They go on by. And
Which
Harry,
honestly, like, good for him. I know that it was under the threat of, like, you know, him using magic or
well, I don't,
being
at this point, I
afraid,
don't think
but-
they even noticed him. They're riding by on their bicycles. It's not like the movie, and we'll talk about that
Oh,
in
you're talking about when he
Transfigurations.
said that in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you. Because he does bait him later.
He does, yes.
Yes. Okay.
So the gang rides on by and then Harry goes and follows them. And I'm wondering, I didn't like that it didn't mention that they put their bikes down or something, or that Dudley wasn't on a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just kind of makes it seem like Dudley's on a bike and then Harry, all of a sudden he's not. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a dumb little nitpick that I thought was interesting. But they say goodbye to him. They say goodbye to Big D. Harry joins up with Dudders. And he kind of tries to pick a fight.
Kinda.
Kind of tries to pick a fight. And here's the thing. I'm here for it. Low key.
Mhm.
I'm here for it. So all
It
this
was one of
time.
those good examples of, again, of it being funny enough to,
Mhm.
like, justify the moodiness.
Yeah, but one of the things that I was thinking before I read this book was like, Harry definitely eggs on Dudley. And I'm not sure, like, that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought,
Well, it's not coming from a good place either. Like,
No.
he's
He definitely-
looking for a vent.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
there's
so-
that one line of it felt good to siphon off his frustration
Mhm.
into Dudley.
Mhm.
But here's the part that I think makes it okay. And
Okay.
obviously, as a Christian pastor, you should not do this kind of thing. But we're talking about a fictional world here, people.
Mhm.
Dudley beats up kids. I think it's all right for Harry to egg him on, to
Mhm.
insult him a little bit in that regard. But anyway, he tries to pick a fight with Dudley. Dudley tries to keep his composure. Shout out to him. All right. I was actually kind of impressed. But then I realized, oh, it wasn't because he's trying to be peaceful for the sake of peace.
It's because he's afraid of
It's
Harry.
because he's afraid of Harry and
Yeah.
and that thing.
Mhm.
Harry drops that one line about the pig on hind legs because he goes, "Did you beat up another? I heard you beat up Mark Evans." And he goes, "Yeah, it's because he gave me some cheek." And he goes, "Did he call you a pig on hind legs? Because that's not cheek, Dud. That's just true." And I was like, "Dang, got him."
Yep.
I like their back and forth. Dudley even scores a few points. Okay, Dudley's able to keep up. He's not as dumb as he looks. And we learn about Harry's nightmares. And apparently, Harry can't take a joke because he immediately pulls his wand out to threaten Dudley. It's like,
Mhm.
"Don't you ever say that. Do you understand me?" is the line he keeps saying. And apparently, Dementors can cast domain expansion. So
Yeah.
this is something I meant to look up beforehand. So in the middle of their fight, the sky goes black. Like everything goes black. They can't see
Mhm.
anything. I don't remember that being a thing Dementors were able to do.
I don't remember it.
If
either.
they are, it's an inconsistency because it never
Mhm.
happens before, at least not to
You
my
could say that
recollection.
maybe they're, like, stronger right now for some reason.
Yeah, like,
Or,
but
like,
I just don't remember any other instance where this happens. Now, you could say that this has happened to Harry,
mhm.
but it only happens to Harry. Nobody else goes blind. And it's because Harry is passing out in those moments. But it's happening to Dudley too. Dudley's not able to see. They're not describing this as a passing out thing. It's a power that the Dementors have
Yeah.
to make a complete darkness.
Maybe it's also because they're in the Muggle world, and like
Mhm.
it's a way that it's kind of different because of that.
It's like in Dan to Dan in liminal space.
Right,
That's
yeah.
basically what's going on.
Because I mean,
Uh,
what is someone going to be like walking down the street and like seeing this happen?
Mhm.
You know?
So it is cool writing as she describes, like the indigo sky all of a sudden turning
Mhm.
black.
But it was probably a decision she made after the previous instances were
Yeah,
like
the new
long
book.
solidified.
So I really enjoyed the writing of this section, though. I thought it was really cool. Harry is trying to get Dudley to calm down. Dudley's like, now would be a good time to punch Harry. So that's what he does.
Mhm.
He punches Harry right in the face. Harry falls down and he's like, "You idiot, Dudley." Dudley starts to run away and he listens for it and he hears that it's Dementors. And Harry's like, frick, I need to find my wand. And he's able to remote activate his wand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of sick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever see this kind of thing happen anywhere else in the series. Like,
Well,
this
and-
is the only
okay.
instance of it I remember.
And I
something
was
like this.
reading it and I was trying to remember. Again, it's just on the movie basis for me after that point. But I was like, to me, I read that and I was like, okay, that is a hint that in the future he will be able to do magic without a wand. Like, that was kind of the hint, or at the very least, he wouldn't be as reliant on it. Like, from a person who watches anime and many fantasy things with power systems or whatever, that's the sort of seed, like story seed, that would lead to that sort of progression of power. And it never happens.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, you're right. It never really does happen for Harry to do wandless magic. It's like, yeah, I mean, I think obviously he
and I
has
don't
those
think
moments.
that would have been good. I'm not saying
No.
that would have been a good story decision necessarily. I think that then you
But
start
it's kinda
getting into the realm.
misleading.
You get into the realm of being OP at that point. But like, yes, I think that was a misleading thing for
Yeah.
sure.
In my head, I thought, I wonder if you could do that with Accio and what that would mean. Like, if your wand was all the way over there and you say Accio something, would it shoot to you or to the wand? You know?
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to think about, listeners.
Gotta love soft magic systems.
That's right. So Harry lights up his wand and two Dementors are attacking them. He can't summon a Patronus at first, but as somebody knew during the Quizzitch section, on the third try, he remembers Hermione and Ron's face, and the stag takes form, takes care of both of them. I like where it says it hits one right where its heart should have been. And they get him on out of there, or the stag takes care of both Dementors, and then Mrs. Fig shows up, and that's the end of the first chapter. Yay! Okay, we're moving on now, listeners, to our bonus sections at the end of each chapter. And what we do is we talk about our favorite lines, and then we'll highlight the transfigurations. I said it wrong in the intro. I got it backwards. It's transfigurations, differences that the books made from the movie, or movies made from the books, and then the golden snitches. But first, our favorite lines. And so, listeners, you might have thought as we were covering it, Barry, you skipped over some of my favorite moments. Don't worry. That's what this part is for. Baby, how many favorite lines did you have for this section?
Well, I'm trying to remember if one of them was in the first chapter or not, because now I'm second guessing myself.
That's okay.
So why don't you say yours first?
All right. My first one is a silly one. Where they're watching the news, talking about the Spanish baggage strike people. And Vernon just says, give them a lifelong siesta, I would. And that's just, funny to me that Vernon would say something like that. So that's my first favorite line. Do you have another favorite line?
I like all of the nicknames that Harry calls Dudley.
Dinky Duddykins.
I think that all of the ditties are just so funny. Obviously,
that's a clippable quote.
Well, I know. But it's because of what that name is associated with now, and he's just like
Popkin, Dinky Diddy Dums,
Yeah.
Ickle Diddykins. Dude, that's how we need to refer to him.
Yep. So when I read this, I did a double take, and I read it not the way that it was supposed to be read originally.
I love when that happens.
But it was when Diddy first started on topic. When Dudley first started talking about Harry's dream. So Harry says, "This is night, Diddykins. That's what we call it when it goes all dark like this." And Dudley says, "I mean, when you're in bed," talking about not being brave. And then Harry was like, "What do you mean I'm not brave in bed?" And I was like, "What are we talking about, boys?"
Am I supposed to be afraid of my pillowcase?
Well, I was not taking it that way. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But again, it was probably because of the ditty. That was on the forefront of my mind.
And then my other favorite line is, we mentioned two of them throughout the chapter, but one was the news changes every day, and the other one being, there's another Dudley one. But the more important one, listeners, that I want to get to, that I loved near the very end of the chapter, I thought it was so cool. Right here, let me get to the spot. Near the very end of the chapter, here it is. He had run barely a dozen steps when he reached them. Dudley was curled on the ground, his arms clamped over his face. A second Dementor was crouching low over him, gripping his wrists in its slimy hands, prizing them slowly, almost lovingly, apart, lowering its hooded head towards Dudley's face as though about to kiss him. That use of the
So
word
creepy.
almost lovingly, because it's about to, and it works even more because it's about to administer the kiss, the Dementor's kiss. And so like you can really just visualize this zombie ring wraith monster looking thing floating, grabbing with these slimy scabbed hands and slowly just gently like taking it off the face and pulling apart just to administer. Like I thought it was great writing. I love that moment.
It's a very good pacing sentence too.
Mhm.
Like it slows things down.
Yeah. So those are all my favorite lines. Did you have any more?
Nope.
Fantastic. Moving on now, listeners, to our transfigurations, which are differences that the movies made from the books. First one is that the movie omits a lot of this chapter.
I'm sure the movie omits most of this book.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so it's funny that you say that because it's the longest book, but it's the second shortest movie. But the movie omits a lot of the first chapters. We don't get Harry listening to the news, chilling out there. It opens with Harry at the park. He's at the park, and Dudley's gang do confront him at the park. They're not riding up on bicycles, but they're already standing there talking to Harry, and Dudley is making fun of him in front of all his friends. And then Harry's not egging him on at all. I actually know he does say one dumb line of like, "Did you beat up another 10-year-old?" And he goes, "This one deserved it."
Honestly, some 10-year-olds.
Bailey, stop it.
Just kidding.
So and then
I'm
Harry
a good parent.
Harry runs up, points a wand at Dudley, and Dudley starts to freak out. And all of his friends are like laughing because they're like, "What's he doing with that?" They don't know what that is. And that's when in the movie, the sky gets dark there. Harry and Dudley don't walk away together. The sky gets dark while they're in the playground. And all of Dudley's friends just ditch him. They bounce.
When it turns into like a horror movie, I remember like this isn't the swing set like swaying.
Yeah. That roundabout thing that they get on.
Merry-go-round.
Is that what it's called?
I
Yeah,
think
that's
so.
right.
Yeah.
I was getting confused like not a Ferris. What's the one in a
Carousel.
carousel? Yeah, I was getting confused with that. And then they run away together, and a Dementor attack happens in an underpass in the movie, like underneath a bridge.
I remember that too.
In like a tunnel kind of thing. Whereas in this book, it's in an alleyway. The only other thing to mention, you kind of find this out later, but the attack happens in the book at 9:23. Whereas in the movie, it happens at 6:23. The only reason I want to highlight that is because when
In
I
the
was
summer, that affects sunset.
it affects sunset, but this is an embarrassing detail for me because I was on an episode of MuggleCast. I made them in Order of the Phoenix Jeopardy. Not Jeopardy. I made them an Order of the Phoenix trivia game, and they did it for their Quizzitch competition. So listeners, if you want to check out that episode, Order of the Phoenix I keep saying Jeopardy. Order of the Phoenix trivia. It's on the MuggleCast catalog if you want to go check that out from last year. But that was one of the questions I messed up. Like even in the episode, I accidentally put.
You switched it. Or...
I didn't just switch it. I made the answer a trick answer where I said it happens at 9:23, but when does it really happen in the book? And one of the answers was 9:23. And I messed it up like twice. I forget exactly how it happened, but even the right answer is not the right answer
That's
in
funny.
the episode. Anyway, that's all our transfigurations. We're going to move on now to our Golden Snitches sound effect. So Golden Snitches, this is the part of the episode we talk about behind the scenes, lore, tids and bits, things that the average listener, the regular reader might not know that much about. So I got a few things. One, most of this all has to do with the baggage strike, the news, things going on the news. So one of them is that the 7 o'clock news was not a thing in Britain until 2003. So this like the news channel that they're listening to, it's an anachronistic thing because this takes place in 1995. Second one, the Spanish baggage handler strike. I looked up, was that a real thing? Yes and no. It's not a real thing in that she's not referring to a specific event in 1995. But I Googled it, and then apparently there was one earlier this year. Like there was like in Spain they were having some like some of the airport workers were on strike earlier in 2026 when we were talking about this. And it happens quite often, apparently, or something like that. So it was like talking about even more real world events. Budgerigars. So I looked up, were there any budgeries? It's a parrot. Didn't know it was a parrot. Were there any that actually water ski? And this is from AI. But while there are popular myths like Bungie, the water skiing budgie, famously mentioned as novelty story in the Harry Potter series, it is not an actual capability. Attempting this with a real pet budgie poses a severe risk of drowning, hypothermia, and extreme distress. All right, so don't try to teach a budgie how to water ski. It will die.
I love those AI overviews that are like, I can't recommend that you do this. And it's like, who was planning on this?
And then the other one is from Reddit. PSA for American readers. Did you know that a budgie, as mentioned at the beginning of book 5, is what you likely know as a parakeet? And it's this whole dude saying like how stupid Americans are for not knowing that. And I was like, listen, it's not called that over here. We won't know. But anyway, I thought that was worth saying. And then the last one, it's mentioned that a divorce takes place on the news, a famous like celebrity divorce in 1995. I didn't think much of it, but when I was on the Harry Potter wiki to look at these different events, I was like, there's probably not going to be anything for it. This one actually has the most like real world applicability type of thing. In 1995, a famous celebrity couple who got divorced, Kenneth Branagh and I forget the actress's name, but it's Gilderoy Lockhart actor and the Sybil Trelawney actor, the divination teacher. They were married and they got divorced in 1995. And listeners, if you don't know this, they got divorced because he cheated on her with the actress that plays Bellatrix, Helena Bonham Carter. So
they had been, so I knew that divorce happened, but I thought that happened like while they were filming. You're saying that happened way before? Yeah,
way before 1995.
Oh my gosh. That's mean.
Well, they're not in the same movies. They're not in the same movies.
No, but why would J.K. Rowling do that?
Well, that's the question I wanted to look up. Maybe Future Barry will hop back in of like, have they, like when, I can't remember when movies 2 and 3 came out. I don't think movie 3 came out at this point, but was movie 2 out? Because that's what the one Gilderoy's in. And she's in movie 3. So they're not in the same movie, but maybe I'm guessing that movie 2 was out and maybe they were casting for movie 3 when she was writing this. I don't know. It could have nothing to do with it, but it's funny that there was a celebrity couple that took place and all 3 people are Potter actors. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Moving on now though to chapter 2, A Peck of Owls. All right. So to open up, Figgy is not happy. Mundungus left to do some shady business stuff, leaving her and Mr. Tibbles on the case all by themselves. I like that she's like, luckily I had Mr. Tibbles to help me out. Harry is understandably shocked by all this information, and he thinks that she's a witch, but we learn that she's actually a squib. Do you remember what a squib is?
It's someone who's like born to be a witch, but they have witch or wizard, but they have no powers.
Yeah, they have wizard parents, but they are not magical themselves. Think Argus Filch, the caretaker at Hogwarts. I like that she apologizes to him for like being boring, because she goes, you know Dumbledore. He's like, you know Dumbledore. She's like, yeah, everybody knows Dumbledore. I've been doing this on his orders, and I've known him all these years. By the way, I'm sorry that I just had to make your stays with me awful. You know, otherwise,
I couldn't let you enjoy it.
Yeah, otherwise the Dursleys would have never let you come back over. So it's like she has the right of the Dursleys. Anyway, Harry picks up Dudder's Diddykins. They trek back to number 4 Privet Drive. I do like the moment when Fig is freaking out and Harry's like, "What's the big deal? Surely the government will understand." You know, she's what, like, because he goes, "I was just protecting myself from Dementors. Like the Ministry won't be upset about that." And she goes, "You foolish boy, you have no idea."
Yeah.
Like our whole goal, Dumbledore's whole mission for us was to make sure you didn't use magic.
I just watched a Wendigoon video that just came out Wendigoon's a great YouTube channel, guys.
Check him out.
Shout out.
I'm sure he needs our
And
support.
no, he's doing great. No, but he just came out with a video talking about all the things that went wrong during the shooting of The Wizard of Oz. And he made like a recurring joke about anytime some tragic like accident happened, not tragic meaning someone died, but like someone gets injured or whatever, he would like be like, and then the director sent them home and gave them this time off and like made a public apology. Just kidding. And it was like,
Yeah.
so that kind of makes me think of that of like, oh yeah, the
Surely they'll
ministry is gonna do
understand.
the right thing.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it's like how naive.
All right, then yeah. So Mundungus shows up.
Mundiddy.
Mundiddy shows up. I'm thinking of like Diddy Door. Every character that starts with a D. That didn't
No.
work. Don't go through the Diddy Door. Mundungus shows up, and he says,
Double Diddy.
that works better. Yeah, much better than Diddy Door. Mundungus Bailey shows up, and he says, "What happened to staying undercover?" And I love that he just like assumes that she's in the wrong. Like he shows up drunk, smelling of tobacco, and is just like, "That's not what we were supposed to do." She beats him with her purse that Harry notices is full of what is most likely like
Cat
cat
kibble.
food cans and all that. I wrote down, I love their interaction at the door. Why do I love that? Oh, because when Harry asks, Dumbledore's been having me followed, she's like, yeah. Yeah, after last year, freaking, of course. Like, they told me you were intelligent.
Yeah.
And then I also loved when he goes, "What are you going to do?" And she goes, "I'm going home." That's where I'm taking
What
myself.
can I do?
So Harry rings the bell. Petunia answers just in time for Diddykins to throw up in front of them. Nice. And then I wanted to say, did you like the use of the word galumphing?
Yes, I did. I love quirky verbs.
I knew I pinpoint these words that my wife would like.
I collect
Galumphing.
words.
So, because it says Vernon was galumphing through the hallway. Makes me think of like a.
Oh, that's what it is, yes.
Yeah. So Vernon and Petunia fawn over Dudley, try to figure out what happened. Vernon says, "Did Mrs. Polkus give you something foreign for tea?" And I wrote down, "So British." Also racist.
Well, yeah, there's another little I guess it doesn't have to be xenophobic, but it sounds like it would be, where Vernon is like bemoaning the people who are in charge of the country nowadays. Like, because he thinks that when Harry says, "Oh, this person works at the ministry," he's like, "There are wizards in the government?" And he's
Yeah.
like,
It's definitely against wizards, certainly.
right, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I also wrote down great use of the word kerfluffle.
Mhm.
I forget where that was, but it was mentioned in the text. Harry almost makes it out of there because they're talking to Dudley, and
Mhm.
he's so close. It says he has his foot on the bottom stair. He's about to go upstairs and leave when Dudley's like, "Him. It was him who did it." And then
What a
they're like,
loser move.
snitch.
No, liar.
Well, to his knowledge, it was Harry because a
guess.
wand is pointed at him, and then all the
And
lights
it-
go out,
fair
and
enough.
magical things happen to him.
I guess.
But Harry denies all the allegations, and I was like, "But did he use his thing?" Come on, Petunia, you're talking to teenagers. You can word it better. I
Mhm.
hated that sentence. Just then, an owl very gracefully glides into the room, and this owl, pretty sick with it, because it glides into the room, never touches the ground, doesn't stop flying. It picks Harry out, drops the letter, perfect aim at Harry's feet, and then swerves out of there. So he's just ministry owl about his business. The letter is from the ministry. That's what a ministry owl delivers. Letters from ministry. And they say Harry is expelled. No more, and he can't use his wand either, or they're going to come destroy it. So after getting that letter, Harry decides that now would be a good time to roll out, because he kind of thinks, well, if this is it, there's nothing else for it. I need to get out of here. Vernon tries to stop him, and Harry threatens him with magic. But Vernon, smart guy that he is, knows that Harry's not allowed to use it or he'll be expelled. But Harry, at this moment,
It's like, that ship has sailed.
he's a dog without a horse, baby, and he can do whatever he wants. Before Oh, before he jinxes his uncle, though, another owl appears, probably Errol, that ruddy bird named Errol. And he and I think it's Errol because he smashes into the window. And that's like a joke that Errol is a Weasley owl that always gets into shenanigans. He's a clumsy owl. Yes, it's from the Weasleys. Anyway, the letter tells him to stay put and that Daddy Dumbledore is trying to figure it all out right now. And then I love Harry goes, right, I've changed my mind. And he sits down and I've always pictured this scene as very businesslike, that he goes, okay, I'll wait. And he sits at the table and he looks at the Dursleys and he just kind of has a Q&A with them where they're like, so what happened? He goes, this is the situation. This is what's going on. And he just kind of, I
Checks
just
out emotionally.
I enjoyed just the change of tone there and Harry's demeanor. And he's explaining the letters. He's like, this one says I got expelled. This one tells me not to go anywhere. We learn that Petunia knows what Dementors are because at one point, he says Dementors attacked and Vernon's denying it. And he says, what are Dementors? And Petunia is the one who says the answer, that they are the guards of the wizard prison, Azkaban. And I love that moment of silence. It says 2 seconds of silence went by before she clapped her hand over her mouth and she's like, oh no, what have I done? And Vernon's reaction is just so they do exist. It's like that old M&M's commercial with Santa. They do exist. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, me neither. And Bailey, what's better than 2 owls?
5.
No, don't ruin the joke. Bailey, what's better than 2 owls?
3.
3 owls. A third owl comes flying in. Vernon says, enough effing owls, which I thought was is that allowed? And then it got me thinking, is effing an actual word? EFFING?
I mean, it's a derivative.
Is it? So I always assumed it was a derivative of the curse word. But I was in this moment, is it an actual British word though?
I doubt it.
We'll look it up later. But I wrote down, calm down, Vernon. It's a children's book. The letter from sweet Miss Mafalda Hopkirk from the improper use of magic office, dadgum, says that Daddy Dumbledore had a word with them and that Harry isn't expelled yet. He has a hearing coming soon, though, to decide if he will be and what will be done with his wand then and all that stuff. Vernon just goes, so did you get the death penalty? Do you guys do that? Can we have some of that now?
That's
wild.
not okay.
Wild, Vernon. Harry tries to explain what happened between Dudley and the Dementoids. I love, you liked in the previous chapter all the different names for Dudley. I like all the different names for the Dementors that Vernon comes up with. I like the moment where Petunia shakes Dudley, to hear if his soul is still inside, because Harry says that's what Dementors do. They suck out the soul. So she shakes Dudley, and Harry's like, you're not gonna hear it rattling around in there. I also enjoyed Vernon. Wrote down he was trying to bring the conversation back down to a realm where he could understand. And he's like, oh, you gave the Dementors the old one too, did you? Good job, boy. And Harry's like, you can't do that with Dementors. Bailey, what's better than 3 owls?
4.
4 owls. This one doesn't say much though. It's just Sirius. I should have known that. I wrote it in my notes. It's just Sirius telling him to chill. I wrote down Harry being like, don't I get a good boy?
Yeah,
Don't I
right?
get a good job? Okay. And I was like, I agree.
That's true.
Of course, it makes from the adult perspective, yes, you have to deal with, you got to deal with quick. But I also understand Harry being like, I just beat 2 Dementors. I'm 15. Don't I get a good job?
And he also didn't really get commended at all for dealing with what he dealt with at the last book. So
Yeah, he's like, I did a good thing. Is anybody everybody's telling me and that's one thing he notes in the chapter. Everybody's acting like I did something awful. I did a good thing.
Well, and not even that. Everyone's acting like he is something that needs to be protected and shielded from the truth and all these things going on. And he's like, I just did this. Where is the acknowledgement that what I did was cool? Instead of just a source of drama.
Yeah, I fought Voldemort. I can do this. I can take care of these Dementors. I can take care of myself. Back to the conversation with Vernon. And Vernon says, these Dementoids, they're here because of you, Harry, not Dudley. And I was like, "Well, you know what? That's true. They're not here to mess with Dudley. They're mainly here because of Harry. Like they want to deal with Harry." Harry says that Voldemort must have sent the Dementors. My actual note is Harry says that Voldemort must have sent them, the Demembers, that is, because that's another name he says. I like Harry's thoughts on the Dursleys not jumping at the name.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, they're afraid of all magic things. It's kind of interesting that they don't get afraid whenever I say the word Voldemort.
Right.
It's just,
It's
they're,
ignorance,
yeah,
but-
they're not afraid because of their ignorance about it. Because later when they do learn who it is, in this next paragraph, Vernon gets pretty upset. So I wrote down Vernon does an insensitivity. And that's the moment of like, when he goes, "Oh, I do know. That's the guy that killed your parents, right? Okay, anyway." And narrator Harry goes, "Interesting how he doesn't show any kind of like this. That's not a topic that would bother me." I wrote down, I love the Petunia paragraph. And it's the one of saying Harry's recognizing that, appreciating more in this moment, that is his mother's sister. But I'll mention more of that in my favorite lines. Vernon does the math and he's like, "Well, if Voldemort's after you and you live here, that settles it. You got to go. You
Yeah.
can't be here no more. You got to get the heck out of this house." And I feel like Vernon's paragraph, where he's in the text, it's a whole paragraph where he says, "We should have kicked you out a long time ago. All right. You with the flying Anglia, with all the owls coming in, with people destroying our living room, all this stuff. We should have kicked you, blowing up Aunt Marge. We should have kicked you out a long time ago." And I liked that paragraph because to me, it was like, it was an author's wink of being like, yeah, it is stupid that they haven't kicked him out yet, isn't it? So she's like, she is finally addressing it. So he's about to kick Harry out. And Bailey, "Do you know what's better than 4 owls? 5 owls." I tried so hard to be like the most restrained I could so we don't wake up the baby.
We're doing good.
Yeah. Just then, a 5th one zooms in so fast that it literally bounces off the floor before it drops its letter off. And Harry, Mr. Main Character Potter's like, "I'll take my letter," sticks his hand out for it, but nope, it zooms right past him to Petunia Dursley. Because it's for her. Drops the letter off on her head, and she's like, "Vernon, it's addressed to me. Petunia, the kitchen, number 4, Privet Drive." And it's no ordinary letter. It's a howler. Those explodey ones. Vernon tells her not to open it, but as we mentioned, it's an explodey one, so it doesn't matter. So it explodes, and it says, "Remember my last, Petunia." Very ominous, very interesting. What could that mean? Harry would like to know what it could mean. And he asks Petunia all sorts of questions, but she basically just shuts him up, tells him, "Go to bed, Vernon, kid has to stay." And he's like, but Petunia. And she goes, "He stays. Harry, go to bed." Harry keeps asking questions, "Go to bed." And then Vernon chimes in at the end of the chapter, "You heard your aunt, go to bed." And that kind of settles all the matter for them. And that's the end of the chapter. Yay! So moving on now to our favorite lines. Did you have any of this chapter?
Yes, I did. I like, there's one like linguistic little thing that I like at one point when Vernon is losing his mind. There's a description of the vein on his forehead, and it's a well-worn vein. And I really like
It's a well-traveled path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, it's cute. And then I also just really liked the opening part with Mrs. Fig just whacking Mundungus, because there was a lot of broodiness up until that point, and it just kind of adds a little levity that I think was helpful. So I liked that.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite moments are from Mrs. Fig. Whenever she says, "Well, it's no good crying over spilled potion, I suppose, but the cat's among the pixies now." It's just like these wizard idioms. They're so funny to me. Another favorite line of mine, I already said it. It's the one where it's always so deflating when I'm like, "Oh, I said it." But it's the one where Petunia shakes Dudley. She sees Dudley by the shoulders and shook him as though testing to see whether she could hear his soul rattling around inside him. Did you have any more?
No, those are mine.
All right. And then my last one is from Uncle Vernon. "But he's gone," said Uncle Vernon impatiently, without the slightest sign that the murder of Harry's parents might be a painful topic to anybody. "That giant bloke said so. He's gone." And I know I mentioned that one too, but I wanted to keep the joy of it. So I powered through. But yeah, not too many favorite lines from this chapter. Those are all of mine. And you've said all yours. So moving on now to our Transfigurations. So differences from book to movie in this one, there's no mention of Mundungus Fletcher. He's not talked about at all. Mrs. Fig just says, Dumbledore sent me to check on you. Like, so this is nothing to do with him. Vernon's also eating ice cream whenever Harry shows up. And he has like it's so weird. Like it's this really long spoon with a tiny head on it in the movie. It's a funny little bit.
Parfait spoon.
Yeah. We only get one letter in the movie, not 5. And that one letter, it's from the Ministry of Magic from Mafalda Hopkirk. And instead of it being a regular letter, it is a howler in the movie. But it's not like a yelling howler. It's one that just opens up and speaks. So that's another difference. And then finally, it's mainly just a lot of omission. So in the second half of the chapter, there's no real conversation between Harry and the Dursleys. So all that stuff about like all the information that comes through the other letters, they don't mention.
And there's no indication that Petunia is of a particular amount of knowledge, right?
Yeah, that it doesn't mention that she knows what Dementors are or anything like that. Essentially what happens in the movie is Harry shows up with Dudley. Dudley says it was Harry who did it. The letter shows up and then Vernon goes, he like sucks on his spoon and he goes, justice, whenever he hears that Harry's expelled. And then they leave, presumably to take Dudley to the hospital. And that's how we're getting into next chapter territory. But those are all the Transfigurations for this chapter. Yay! Moving on now to our Golden Snitches. So the first one, there's not a lot for this chapter. One of them that I thought was interesting was like an idiom. We get the line, Fig says, might as well be hanged for a dragon as an egg.
Yeah, I puzzled at that sentence for a little while.
I did too. So I asked Google, what does that mean in the mug? What does it mean? The idiom means that if you're going to get in trouble for a minor infraction, you might as well go all the way and commit a bigger offense, as the punishment will likely be the same. It is a magical spin on the Muggle expression, might as well be hanged for a sheep as a lamb. Historically, under Old English law, stealing a small, less valuable lamb carried the exact same death penalty as stealing a full-grown sheep. If you were already facing execution for the theft, there was no deterrent left to keep you from taking more valuable, fully grown sheep. So I thought that was interesting. But it makes sense. Might as well be hanged for a dragon as an egg. Like both are going to happen. And then the other one, because there was, like I said, there wasn't many other Golden Snitches. A lot of things I've addressed in previous books and previous Golden Snitch sections. I wanted to mention this one. Many owls show up to drop off information. Dang, I feel like I can't even say this because this is restricted section stuff.
Well, then wait.
Yeah, I'm going to wait because guess what? The next part is the restricted section. Yay!
Now I get to be spoiled.
Now we get to be spoiled. Okay, so listeners, before we hop into this, if you don't want to be spoiled on the rest of the Harry Potter books, if you are an incredible, wonderful person who is tuning into my podcast, having never fully read the Harry Potter books, I'm surprised, but I'm also grateful. So thank you. If you don't want to be spoiled, get on out of here. Thank you so much for listening, though. Hope to see you back here next week for chapters 3 and 4 with a very special guest, one of the most special.
There you go.
That's right. But for all those other people, those who are okay to be spoiled, all right, you're here now in the special section, the restricted section. In every single book, I call it something different. You know, in the first book, it was Third Floor Corridor. Second book, Chamber of Secrets. Third book, I forgot. Oh, the Prison of Azkaban, Azkaban Prison. Fourth book, it was kind of meh. It was the Graveyard. But I think we're back to something really good. All right, we're calling it. What did I call it? Oh my gosh, I was so proud of when I came up with the name for it too.
What a shame.
What a shame. Reparo, Futureberry here. You should be grateful, listeners. I cut out quite a while of me trying to remember the super awesome, clever name that I came up with for the restricted section for this book. And the name of the restricted section is the Department of Mysteries. Ooh, I know. Really clever. Anyway, back to the show. Anyway, we're in the restricted section where we talk about things that will spoil stuff for the rest of the book. So one was, as I was about to say, in that Golden Snitch section, Dumbledore, there's a theory that Dumbledore is a animagus who can transform into an animal, and that he can transform into an owl, because there are some slight connections between him and owls throughout the series. There's not a lot.
Well, it's also really basic with like any archetypal mentor or senex.
Wise character.
Yeah.
Athena, that being her person.
Yeah. Well, like it's like Merlin in the Arthurian story that I don't know if it's just T.H. White, but he gives him a pet owl. So
I didn't know. Oh yeah, I did know that.
Archimedes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dumbledore's like plinth in the, I guess, podium is an owl podium. There's a few other owl references, but I only bring it up because of the owls drop. And there's also certain moments throughout the series where like an owl notices something and they're like, is that Dumbledore? Like, you know, and
yeah, sure.
It's kind of a terrible theory when you try to like break it. It's not that good of a theory, but I thought it worth considering. The next one, the corridor dream that Harry has, it's not a like trapped feeling thing. So he says he keeps having like dreams of this long corridor that he's going down, and he gets to a door that he can't open. And he says it's probably has to do with the feeling of being trapped, but it's not.
Obviously,
it's actually a real hallway that Voldemort is trying to get him to go down to, that leads to the Hall of Prophecy, to get those things out. So this other one I want to mention, I think great writers will often like set something up in chapter 1 of their books, like chapter 1 or 2, that has that explains the journey the character is going to go on. Some small struggle they deal with that turns into like that they are able to overcome or not overcome. That's the lesson for that character for the rest of the book. I think that happens with Harry here. And I want to bring this up because I hear so many people when talking about the Harry Potter series say that Harry is not that great of a character. He's pretty bland. And I've always disagreed, but I've never like had much ammo to back it up, because I don't read these books like that. I read them to enjoy, and they just click with me. And one of the things you've said, my English teacher wife, is that great books oftentimes or a story will click or not click with people because it either follows certain principles or does certain things, and you might like it and not even know why you like it, but it's because it's following certain archetypes or doing certain things right that are just ingrained in the human psyche. And I've been reading this awesome book. I have it over on my counter over there, but it's How Harry Casts His Spell. And it's this, I'm a evangelical Christian pastor. This book by an evangelical Christian pastor who looks at the Harry Potter series through a Christian lens to find all of the different Christian allusions. It's a really cool book. I'll say this. Some things are a stretch because he throws out like 100 different things that like at a time that could be similar between the Christian story and the Harry Potter story. So some of the things are like, you're reaching there. So I don't always agree with him, but for the most part, it's a very interesting read. And I agree with a lot of what he says. And he's pointed out in each book the incredible character journey that Harry goes on. At least I've read to chapter 4, or not chapter 4. I've read to his part about book 4. I haven't read his book 5 part yet. But something I noticed in this first chapter is this incredible Harry moment where in this book, Harry it's the angsty book. It's the book where he's pessimistic. It's the book where he's angry a lot. And it's the book where he feels like the whole world is against him because like the whole government is against him. He thinks his friends are against him. And two of the major things he said he has to do, I'm not going to say this is the lesson of the whole book, but I will say these are two of the major lessons of the book. One is he has to choose to love people even when they might be like unlovable. And the other one is to choose joy, just to choose joy in the most awful of circumstances. And I think both of those things happen in that moment with the Dementors. When the Dementors are attacking, he's unable to form his Patronus because the text even says something like,
he can't think of anything happy.
He can't think of anything happy. And then on the third time, he just sees the two faces of his best friends, Ron and Hermione.
But even that springs only from an initial moment of him listing them as something he was upset about.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even amidst him not feeling loved by them, he can still view them as things to spark love and happiness within himself.
Exactly. And so I think that moment kind of encapsulates a lot of the journey he's going to have to go on in this book, of starting off as this angry kid with the world against him, to in this moment with him being able to choose joy and choose to love people. Like, he takes this journey of saying, even if people are against me, I can still choose to love them. Because at this moment, he thinks Ron and Hermione are keeping things from him. And I will save this wizarding world, even if it is against me as well.
When I was even going to say, like, it's not like he needs to do this thing because that's some, like, ethereal right thing to do. It's like, no, he has to do this or else. Because, like, the enemy will feed upon the alternative.
The other side will win if you don't choose love.
So it's not some, like, wagging his finger or, like, Rowling getting on a preaching kind of thing. It's like, no, this is the only thing that you have as a weapon at the end of the day. And it's the fuel of the most powerful weapon that he's had, at least until this point. So...
Yeah, so on the Harry Potter series, like, the great message is always that love is the most powerful type of magic. And I love, like, this to me is an awesome character moment for Harry, of him choosing love, choosing joy, and that is going to be the journey he has to go on in this book, to be able to continue to do that even when the world is against him. Because
that's
at this
what a savior
moment,
does.
In this moment, he doesn't even know how much the ministry is out to get him. And how much his other friends are going to turn on him, and he's going to have to choose to love them even still, and he's going to have to choose that even when crap hits the fan, to keep a good attitude. So I love that. Anyway, just a few more restricted section stuff. One, Mafalda Hopkirk, she appears later in the series. She is the witch that Hermione impersonates when they break into the ministry in book 7. Petunia, when she says, Harry thinks that she's talking about his mom and dad when she says, whenever she would talk to that awful boy, she's really talking about Snape. And we don't learn that until book 7. Because that's Petunia met Snape whenever they were young.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Snape would tell Lily all the stuff about the wizarding world before she got there, because he found out she would be a wizard, and a whole bunch of stuff in book 7.
Oh my gosh.
The other one, who sent the Dementors? Do you know who sent the Dementors?
Was it in the movies?
It's not in the movie.
Then I wouldn't know.
I thought maybe I've said it before. Umbridge sent the Dementors. Dolores Umbridge sends the Dementors. It's not Voldemort. Harry thinks it's him. But she sent it because, like, she is crazy for Fudge. And she's like, Harry's a problem for Fudge. Let's get rid of him. So she sends the Dementors to go get Harry. You learn that later in this book. And then the last one, the letter. The letter, as I've said several times this episode, and we've had to edit it out, but it's from Albus Dumbledore. Remember my last, Petunia. And so you, wife, you don't know what his last is.
Is it like a previous message he's given her?
Yeah. I was going to ask you what you thought it meant.
Yeah.
Whenever
my last letter, my last message.
Yes.
Whatever.
And so it's a reference to that letter that Harry was delivered with on the doorstep when he was a baby. And in that letter, it basically explains, because in this moment, Vernon is worried that their family is in danger, that they'll be attacked. But Dumbledore, because he has awesome magic powers and can do stuff, invoked this blood protection magic. So Harry's already protected by from Voldemort by his mother's spell, or his mother's protection, but Dumbledore was able to, like, magnify that around this household. And the way that the spell works is, if Harry is living at the house of a blood relative, he can't be hurt there. As long as he can call that place home, that house is protected. So Dumbledore saying, remember my last, that's him saying, you don't need to worry that your family is in danger. In fact, if Harry were to leave, you'd be in more danger.
Right. Yeah.
But if he lives there, and even if he's gone all year and only comes back for a week in the summer, and is still able to call this place his home, he's you and him are protected in this house.
That makes me wonder if that is related to just a another consequence even now from what Lily did as like
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
it's part of
yeah.
the extension of
right,
what
right,
Lily
right.
did.
Okay.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to mention, I know so that was the last one, but the last one I wanted to mention, I thought I would say it in my, I thought I had it in my favorite lines, but I didn't, so I'll say it here. That paragraph talking about when Harry recognizes that Petunia is his mother's sister, like he appreciated that more than ever. I like really resonated with that line because
Yeah.
there's so many moments in my life where I'm like, I realize a truth stronger than I ever did before. And oftentimes I'll phrase it in my stories of like, well, yeah, you say it afterwards, it sounds obvious. We were watching an anime where one character says to the other, like, wow, you really are my classmate. And like what that person meant was like, oh, you're still the same person, but you're different, and similarly, Harry's always known that his aunt was his mother's sister, but he
He now
appreciates
sees that
more.
as a way to connect with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. That was the last thing I wanted to say because I forgot to say to my favorite lines. Did you have any more thoughts? Well, there you go. Listeners, that wraps up our first episode of Book 5 coverage. Yay! So thank you so much for listening, dear listeners. Thank you for watching, viewers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tune in next week for chapters 3 and 4 of Order of the Phoenix with one of the special, honestly, he's a regular guest, just a regular dude, not that important. And yeah, if you want to send me any messages, feel free to do so. You can write me a letter.
Don't send me messages.
You can't write a letter. You don't have my email, or you don't have my address, but you do have my email. Feel free to send me an email or a howler at retoldpodcast@gmail.com. I had a hard time remembering. Or you can message me on Instagram at the Retold Podcast. But that's all we got. So see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And click. Thank you for listening to Retold. Artwork for this podcast was created by Rachel Ortlip. Music was created by Taylor Jarvis. And the Retold Podcast is produced by me. That's right. I made this.